Welcome back. Today I'm going to complete guided project 4.3. And this unit and this project in particular deals with using tables in Excel. There's lots of great data that you can extrapolate out of tables. Um, we're going to do some filtering. There's many ways to filter. And finally, we're going to use a pivot table, which is another great feature in this unit. This is a little more advanced. For the average user, that should not intimidate you. There's not a lot of formulas, if any formulas, but it's just the way you can take data and organize and filter and sort it to make it easier to read. Another really good unit for you to not only learn, but put on a resume. These are truly applicable work skills that can get you hired. So um, definitely, I hope you're taking some of the skills covered in this class and putting them right on LinkedIn and right on a resume, because most people don't know how to use Excel to this extent. All right, so to begin, I went into Guided Project 4.3. I downloaded my start file, which is here. And the other file that you're actually going to need is this resource file. You're going to need this, so I'm going to open it with you. We're actually going to embed this into the Excel file. So this is a little tricky if you're not watching this video. So I'm going to download my resource file. You can see it puts it in a zip folder, hence the folder with the zipper on it. Let's open it up. There it is. And it gave me two documents. And what I'm going to do is there's an Excel document and a Word document. I'm going to drag these into my documents. And I'm just going to leave them in documents. For now. I'll come back to that later. And that will pick up, I forget what step that is, but you'll see how we'll kind of incorporate that. Okay, so I think my screen is good for you to see. Let's begin. So essentially we did step one. If you look at the directions, which hopefully you downloaded, it even mentions important download the resource file needed for this project in the resource link. So step two, copy the past and projected sheet before the criteria sheet and name the copied sheet ADV filter. Okay, so here is my past and projected. I'm going to right click over the tab and I'm going to move or copy. And I want to make a copy, that's important. And I want to put it before the criteria sheet. And here it is. It's now called past and projected 2. I want to double click that and rename it to ADV filter. Take your time in spelling that. And that looks like this is the sheet where I'm going to use a lot of my data. The reason you copy and paste a worksheet is because you have the original, right? So probably a good practice if you're going to do lots of manipulating of data. Step 3, create and format an Excel table. Select cells A4 to E60 on this advanced ADV filter sheet. You can see the data looks like procedures in a hospital. It says MRI, there's a CAT scan, so on and so forth. Step 3B, click the quick analysis tool and choose tables. Now I could also get to tables in a different way, but remember we did this for charts, I believe. I believe we did this for formatting, and now we're going to do it for tables. And I'm just going to choose table. More to follow on these pivot tables later. And just like that, all I did was select my data and make it into a table. And I'm going to just kind of digress a little bit. But Look how great this is. Just from making it a table, I have these drop down arrows, and look at all the filtering I can do. I can filter by numbers. I can sort smallest to largest. So there's such power in tables within Excel just to condense data. Step 4, apply a table style. Click cell A5 in the table. Click the More button, which is under my table tools. Yours might be a little more condensed. Or I should say mine's a little more condensed. Yours might be a little more expanded. And I'm going to choose A5. I'm sorry. White table style medium 15. Here's my medium group. There you go. There's 15. Notice how in step 4 it says alternate. You're not going to need to do the alternates on any of these steps until we get to step 9. So again, another good reason you're watching this video. I think this is a little difficult to do it this week without the video, so congrats and kudos to you that are doing this. Step 5, create an output range for the advanced filter. Select cell A4 to E4. And copy them to cell G4. I'm going to right click and copy. I'm going to drop them over here in G4. I'm going to right click and paste. Step 5B, type extract range in cell G3. And set the font to Cambria 16 point. And then step 5C, it says, adjust column widths to show the labels. I know that this column K, I don't know if you're let's see. Yeah, see, double click doesn't work. Don't know why. So I'm just going to drag it out manually until it goes on one line. Same thing with total hours. It will not mark off for that. I don't even know if it's going to mark off for that, but just to be safe, I would just drag it manually to stretch it out. Step 6, create an advanced filter. So here's why we're kind of doing this. We have to go back to the criteria sheet. And very important, you get your greater than, less than sign and your dates correct. When I teach this in class, this is where a handful of hands go up. And if you can't get this step, it's tough to kind of move on to the rest. So we're going to go to cell A3. We're going to do greater than 12, 31, 16. Greater than 12, 31, 16 in cell A3. And in B3, we're going to type MRI. And then in cell A4, we're going to type greater than 12, 31, 14. Notice it's 2 years earlier. And then in B4, we're going to type a CT scan. This is the point in class where I ask anyone to raise their hand if they've had an MRI. And I look around and say, me too. And I'm really claustrophobic. I hated it. And then I say, raise your hand if you've ever had a CAT scan. And I say, me too. Not as claustrophobic. I just don't like any procedure that takes place at a hospital or doctor's office for that matter. So that looks like it is it for the first page. The reason we're doing this is we're essentially saying in that previous sheet, which was advanced filter, I want to pull out any patient that had an MRI in 2017 or later, right? January 1st, 2017. And I also want any patient that had a CT scan in 2015, January 1st or later. This is what we're essentially setting up to do. All right, step F. Click on cell A5 of the advanced filter sheet. So we're going to go over here to A5. Click the advanced button, and it even tells us this is under the data tab. So just like every week, we've been under kind of a different tab, it seems like. Today, we're going to be under data for tables. And under the data tab, you should have an advanced button. It's going to be around this vicinity right near this filter. So go ahead and click that. Step H, select the copy to another location radio button. Step I, verify that the list range is A4 to E60. Notice it puts absolute reference on it for us. If the range is incorrect, click and drag. We don't need to. Step J, click the criteria range box and select cells A2 to B4 on the criteria sheet. A2 to B4. And there it is. Notice it puts criteria and an exclamation mark before it. Excel always does that to indicate you're on a different sheet. So that's a good thing. And then the last piece is I'm going to click in the copy to box. It brings me back to this sheet. And I'm going to select G4 to K4 on the advanced filter sheet, which is what I'm on, G4 to K4. Click OK in the advanced filter dialog box. Okay, here we go. I think the magic number is 10, but let's see. There you go. If you got, if you got 10, you did it correctly. And the way you know you did it correctly is because all these CAT scans are after January 1st, 2015. And these MRIs are after January 1st, 2017. And it looks like there's a total of 2 MRIs and 8 CT scans. So good job. You did that correctly. Just like we did before, we're going to ignore the alternate step on the worksheet. And now we're down to step 6. Oh, excuse me. Step 6 is the alternate step. So cross out or ignore step 6. That's just a different way to do it. It looks like if you're using a different version of Excel. So we're going to get down to step 7. Sort data in the output range on the advanced filter sheet. Sorting data is really easy. Right-click cell H5. So I'm going to go right here. I'm going to right-click in that cell. Choose sort and select A to Z. So when I do that, alphabetically, C comes before M, so it's a quick way to sort. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to right-click G5, which is my dates. In this sort, since Excel can recognize that it's dates, hence numbers, not text, it doesn't give me the alphabetical option. It gives me oldest to newest. So 2015 comes before 2017. Notice when you sort this one changes, right? Step 8, apply conditional formatting and borders. Select cells I5 to I14. Click the conditional format button, which is back home. Choose highlight cell rules and choose greater than. Type 750. Well, we didn't need to do that because it automatically dropped in. My guess is it knew 750 because maybe that's the average of these numbers. That's my educated guess. And choose green fill with dark green text. You can see what it's doing already. We're basically saying any number that's 750 or greater, give us a color, and it defaults to this. We want to use green fill with dark green text, and there's looks like two numbers. And if you did that, two numbers should pop up. Step F, select cells G5 to K14. And apply all borders. And that's also up here in your Home tab. Step G, press Control Home. Just takes you back to cell A1. Cool.